The man accused of murdering a little girl that was kidnapped from a prayer service sits in the Smith County Jail tonight, awaiting indictment.
Gustavo Zavala Garcia is charged with capital murder in the death of 10-year-old Kayla Gomez Orozco. If a federal court had acted earlier, it is possible he might not have been in the country at the time of Kayla's death. KLTV7's Cody Lillick has been investigating this case for months. Cody, how is this possible?
It's something authorities see all the time in jails across East Texas, called an immigration hold. One was placed on Gustavo Zavala Garcia during a 2014 arrest. But as we found out, due to a caseload that gets larger and larger every year, that case was never resolved. This November court hearing was not the first for Gustavo Zavala Garcia. Before his arrest on capital murder, he was arrested in 2014 in Smith County on an assault family violence charge. In that arrest, it was discovered he was not a U.S. citizen, and an immigration hold was placed on him.
We will contact ICE, and they will decide at that point whether or not to put a detainer on that person to hold them until they can come pick them up and pursue charges on them as well.
Zavala Garcia's case became one of thousands that pile up in immigration courts across the U.S., including this one in Dallas. His 2014 immigration hold was not resolved by the time of his arrest for Kayla's murder.
2 years and 13 days, that wouldn't surprise you to still be pending in Dallas?
No, it wouldn't, not at all.
Ann Badmus is an immigration attorney in the Dallas area. She says the delay is nothing new and doesn't seem to be getting any better.
It's always been a long wait time for anyone in deportation or removal court, as we call it. But recently, probably in the past 3 or 4 years, or at least actually during the Obama administration, we've seen a lot more delays, and mainly because there have been a lot more people that are coming through the system.
Badmus has had a lot of experience with the immigration court here in Dallas and the delays that go along with it. She says the longest delay she has seen with a case of her own is 5 years. That case is still pending in the Dallas Immigration Court. Numbers collected by the University of Syracuse show the backlog has been on the rise, not only at the court in Dallas, but at courts across Texas and the country. In the Dallas court, the number of pending cases has gone up 420% over the past 10 years. In the case of Zavala Garcia, he served his time at the county jail, but his immigration case in Dallas was still pending, meaning technically he was still able to be in the country.
It's out of our hands, absolutely, and that's happened quite frequently. Matter of fact, most of them, depending on what the criminal offense is, most of them, at least under this current administration, get a PR bond, personal recognizance bond, and are told to show back up at court at some later point.
And when they do show up, they're greeted with courts with growing cases, but not growing staff numbers.
In your experience, is the court here staffed sufficiently to handle the amount of cases that they're getting?
Well, I think it's general consensus that it's not. And probably any court, an immigration court, is probably not adequately staffed, considering the numbers. And most immigration attorneys agree there needs to be a general overhaul of the whole immigration system.
Something East Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert agrees with.
It is totally unacceptable. You ought to be able to have a hearing within 60 days, 90 days at most. I don't think people ought to be released. If they're caught coming in illegally, then have the hearing immediately.
He says if the court was efficient in its proceedings, possibly deporting Gustavo Zavala Garcia, things might have been different for Kayla.
And he's only charged, he hasn't been convicted yet, but certainly she'd be alive today if the federal government had done its job, the executive branch had done its job of deporting people and enforcing the border so he wouldn't be back.
Smith County Sheriff Larry Smith says more than just the courts would need to improve.
Deportation means nothing if all you got to do is walk back across and swim across the river.
Zavala Garcia has another immigration hold placed on him now, along with that capital murder charge. The U.S. Department of Justice, which manages immigration courts, released a statement to KLTV7 Investigates, saying they recognize that to reduce the pending caseload and wait times for those in proceedings, the agency must continue its hiring initiative to increase the size of its immigration judge corps.
Thank you, Cody.